Hello. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about bilingualism and its relation to cognitive development. For my own K-6 education, I attended a Spanish immersion school, an experience I appreciated and thoroughly enjoyed. As we proceeded through this course, I began to wonder how a child's development is affected by learning a second language. Do their mental processes work differently? Are they inhibited or enhanced? I'm going to answer these questions in the following presentation. Let's go. As we go through the presentation, I will define both new and important terms. I would like to start out by defining bilingual and cognitive development. Merriam-Webster defines bilingual as using or able to use two languages, especially with equal fluency. According to our textbook, cognitive development is gradual orderly changes by which mental processes become more complex and sophisticated. These two terms are going to show up repeatedly in my presentation today. To start, we are going to look at how bilingualism affects executive functioning. According to our textbook, executive functioning is all those processes that we use to organize, coordinate, and perform goal-directed intentional actions, including focusing attention, inhibiting impulsive responses, making and changing plans, and using memory to hold and manipulate information. The executive function system is located in the prefrontal cortex, and it is one of the more critical areas of cognitive development. Through this system, we are able to manage life tasks of all types. Let's first look at the aspect of making and changing plans. Dr. Ellen Bielstock, a researcher at York University, has completed extensive studies on bilingualism and its relation to cognitive development. One study, which was first administered in 1999, then replicated in 2004 with dimensional change card sorts, looks at the making and changing plans aspect of executive functioning. These cards, as you can see here, have different images in different colors. Children aged 4 and 5 were first asked to sort the cards by one dimension, for example, by color, and then were asked to sort the cards by the other dimension, the shape. The bilingual children in both studies were more successful than their monolingual counterparts in switching the mode of sorting when the directions were changed. These results demonstrate a higher executive control in bilingual children. Another study, also completed by Dr. Bielstock, looks at the ability to manipulate information. 6-year-old children were presented with an ambiguous shape. This image could be perceived as either a duck or a rabbit. Both the bilingual and monolingual children compared in their ability to identify an animal in the image. But when told that it could be seen as a different animal, the bilingual children were better able to manipulate the information they had originally perceived in order to identify the other animal. This ability to inhibit the original meaning of the stimulus to create a new meaning is another example of high executive control. Now we need to address some developmental lags that bilingual children tend to experience, particularly with vocabulary. In 2011, Dr. Bielstock conducted a study with 971 children, ages 5 to 9, half being bilingual and half being monolingual. She used the Peabody Picture Vocabulary Test, which you can see here. The average score for monolingual children was 105, while the average score for bilingual children was 95, a great discrepancy. The test here was administered in English, which was the native language of the monolingual children and the second language of the bilingual speakers. When similar tests were done with older children and adults, it was shown that disparities in vocabulary size decrease, while disparities in the speed of lexical recall increase. Lexical recall is your ability to see an image and be able to put a name to what that image is. Bilingual speakers who have the same vocabulary size as monolingual speakers actually take longer to put a name to an image that is presented to them. I was able to find 10 studies, including one dating back to 1987, that corroborate these findings. Now that you have a basic understanding of how bilingualism affects development, it's time to jump into the classroom. How can you use this information to best serve your future bilingual students? First, do your best to separate vocabulary size from intelligence. Just because a student is unable to identify an image or words in the language in which you're teaching, which will most likely be English, it doesn't mean that they don't know what that image is or they don't understand the words. They just do not have the extent of English vocabulary in order to be able to identify. In order to help them build their vocabulary skills, you should have a plethora of dual language resources in your classroom. Here are some examples of dual language books that you could have in your classroom library. When it comes to handouts, worksheets, and PowerPoints, reading words alone may be frustrating for bilingual students and prevent them from fully understanding the instructions. Using images and graphic organizers to accompany the words can aid in comprehension. Also, provide students various opportunities to work in pairs and in groups. In addition to picking up conversational vocabulary, bilingual students are able to gain confidence in their speaking skills. I hope you found this presentation helpful. Thank you for your feedback, both encouraging and constructive. Have a great week!